Welcome to our exploration of one of the most pivotal moments in biblical history, Exodus 1:7. This chapter sets the stage for the Israelites' journey out of slavery and towards freedom. Let's delve into the context surrounding this passage. As we examine Exodus 1:7, it's essential to understand the circumstances that led the Israelites to Egypt in the first place. According to biblical accounts, they migrated there during a severe famine that struck Canaan, Genesis 47. The pharaohs of Egypt took them in, initially welcoming them as guests. However, over time, their population grew, and the Egyptians began to fear the Israelites' rising numbers. This unease eventually gave rise to harsh treatment and enslavement. It's against this backdrop that we find ourselves in Exodus 1:7. This passage serves as a turning point in the narrative, marking the beginning of the end for Egyptian rule over the Israelites. As God prepares to intervene on their behalf, Moses is called to lead them towards freedom. His mission will require faith, courage, and trust in the Lord's plan. By examining Exodus 1:7 closely, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities of this ancient story. The struggles and triumphs of the Israelites offer valuable lessons for our own lives today, reminding us that even in darkness, hope and redemption are within reach. Biblical context and key passages. As we delve into the story of Exodus 1:7, it's essential to understand where "do not be afraid" appears in Scripture. One of the most significant passages that comes to mind is Isaiah 41:10, which reminds us that God will strengthen those who trust in Him. The Israelites faced numerous challenges during their time in Egypt, from forced labor to harsh treatment. Despite these difficulties, they remained a growing and resilient people. It's against this backdrop of uncertainty and fear that we find the Israelites being reassured by Moses. "Do not be afraid," he says, echoing God's promise. This phrase becomes a recurring theme throughout Scripture, reminding us that our fears are often unfounded and that God is always present to guide and protect us. As we explore Exodus 1:7, let's keep this promise in mind and consider how it relates to the Israelites' journey out of slavery. One of the most striking examples of "do not be afraid" can be found in Joshua 1:9, where God tells Joshua to be strong and courageous, assuring him that He will be with him wherever he goes. This same promise is extended to us today, encouraging us to trust in God's plan and provision. Isaiah 41:10. God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. Joshua 1. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord is with you. Meaning and key themes in Exodus 1:7. We find a pivotal moment in biblical history where Moses reassures the Israelites not to be afraid. This phrase becomes a recurring theme throughout Scripture, reminding us that our fears are often unfounded and that God is always present to guide and protect us. The context of this passage is one of uncertainty and fear. The Israelites have been enslaved in Egypt for generations, facing forced labor and harsh treatment. Yet, they remain a growing and resilient people, trusting in God's promise to deliver them from bondage. Moses' words, "do not be afraid," are not just a personal message but an echo of God's promise. We see this same promise repeated throughout Scripture, offering us hope and reassurance in the midst of challenges. One key theme that emerges from Exodus 1:7 is the importance of faith and trust in God's plan. The Israelites are called to put their fear aside and trust in God's deliverance, just as we are today. This passage also highlights the significance of leadership and guidance. Moses serves as a model for us, showing how to trust in God's presence and provision even when faced with uncertainty. As we explore Exodus 1:7, let's keep these key themes in mind and consider how they relate to our own lives today. Practical application today. The lessons from Exodus 1:7 are just as relevant today as they were for the Israelites. We face our own challenges and uncertainties, but we can draw strength from this ancient story. One practical application of Exodus 1:7 is to remember that God's presence is always with us. Just like Moses reminded the Israelites not to be afraid, we can trust in God's guidance and protection today. We can also learn from the Israelites' resilience and faith in the face of adversity. Despite their difficult circumstances, they remained a growing and hopeful people, trusting in God's deliverance. Another key takeaway is the importance of leadership and guidance. Moses serves as an example of how to trust in God's presence and provision, even when faced with uncertainty. In our own lives, we may face difficult decisions or uncertain circumstances. But just like the Israelites, we can trust in God's plan and provision, knowing that He is always present to guide us. Conclusion: as we reflect on Exodus 1:7, it's clear that this passage serves as a turning point in the narrative. The Israelites' journey out of slavery and towards freedom is marked by faith, courage, and trust in God's plan. By examining this passage closely, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities of this ancient story and learn valuable lessons for our own lives today. The phrase, "Do not be afraid," becomes a recurring theme throughout Scripture, reminding us that our fears are often unfounded and that God is always present to guide and protect us. Just as Moses reassured the Israelites in Exodus 1:7, we can trust in God's promise of deliverance and provision today. As we close this exploration of Exodus 1:7, let's remember the significance of faith, trust, and leadership. The Israelites' story offers us hope and reassurance in the midst of challenges, reminding us that even in darkness, redemption is within reach.